Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Good morning, everyone. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. As I remember here in 2026, it's a new year, how to operate the technology that I've only used 530 times here over the past 3 years. Welcome to the show, everybody. Again, I'm Ray Flowers. I'm with you Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday here on the show. Wednesdays is Justin Fensterman. And we're going to keep that going. Just because the regular season of football is over doesn't mean things stop over at FantasyGuru.com. We're obviously here on the show. So we'll continue to rock and roll every day, Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll go about an hour or so, a little less, a little more each day. On Wednesdays, I'm not here because I'm with Jeff Mans. Jeff Mans Show on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the Elite Sports Show. So we're here from 12 to 1 Eastern. Get an hour break, and then you're over there on SiriusXM from 2 to 5 Eastern. It's Monday, and this is the only day of the 4 days, the only day of the 5 days. How many days are Monday through Friday, Ray? The only one of the 5 days, Monday through Friday, where there's just one of us here. On Tuesdays, it's me and Armando Marsal. On Wednesdays, it's Justin Fensterman and Rich Moletto. On Thursdays, it's me and Tyler Beaker. And on Fridays, it's me and Russell Clay. All of those guests show up at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, about a half hour into the show. On Mondays, I'm solo. So I'm here by myself, rocking and rolling with you today. We'll do for one final time what we've done all season long, and that is review game action on Sunday. And we'll continue to do this on Mondays. We'll review all the weekend action for the NFL. This is just the last regular season, foray. It's the last time that we'll get an opportunity to look at all of the teams, all the games, going game by game, team by team, what happened, what didn't happen, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we'll do here on the show on Monday. As you can see there on the screen, exciting times. We have once again partnered with Drafters.com. Their Drafters.com is doing a best ball postseason tournament. So head over to Drafters.com right now and get signed up. Drafters.com/refer/elite. Drafters.com/refer/elite. Get over there. Get a chance to win part of $300,000 in prizes. It's a lot of money, $300,000 in prizes. Best ball, so you just draft the team and it's done. You don't have to worry about it after the fact. If you've never signed up with Drafters.com before, we also have a special deal for you. Up to $100, there's a 100% bonus. So if you put in $20, they'll give you $20. You put in $75, they'll give you $75. All the way up to $100, they'll match whatever you put in. In order to use that, you want to use the promo code ELITE, ELITE, ELITE. That's only for first-time users of Drafters.com. If you've already used one of our, I've already been involved with Drafters.com as we have for years now, you can just go to Drafters.com/refer/elite. Don't get the match, but obviously you can still sign up and get an opportunity to play that best ball postseason tournament for your shot to win part of $300,000. So check it out. All right, let's minimize this, and let's get going here as we go through game by game, team by team, what we saw. The Buccaneers beat the Panthers, but still don't make the playoffs. I don't know. Let me ask you this. Just pull back. Should the NFL seeding, because like in the NFC, the Panthers get a home game. They went 8-9 and snuck into the playoffs. Talk about sneaking in. They didn't even win their final game. They lost the matchup with the Buccaneers and snuck in because of the Saints-Falcons game. Should they have a home game? They went 8-9. Niners won 12 games, don't get a home game. Rams won 12 games, don't get a home game. It's the way it is. It's the way it's always been. Should it be that way? I also think the NFL's got a significant problem, which we'll dive into throughout the show here. The NFL doesn't play 162 games. Doesn't even play 82 games, right? Plays 17 games. Why are teams giving up in the 17th game of the season? NFL's, again, right now the NFL is the king of the world and everything like that. But this is, there's some cracks here. We're seeing it in the playoffs. Next week in the this week in the playoffs, round one, the wild card. By the way, I'll still be doing my matchup article that'll be out on Thursdays over at FantasyGuru.com. Why is the NFL playing games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? Can't we just play Saturday and Sunday? Or even better, just play Sunday? I mean, I don't know. Why are we playing on a Monday? This is my real question here. I don't quite get that. Not really sure, but we're playing Monday next week. Regardless, the NFL has a little bit of a problem here. You can't have teams just giving up. I mean, the Raiders gave up weeks ago, fired their head coach this morning. The Browns fired their head coach this morning too. But there are teams across the line like, why did the Cowboys play their guys half the game and then sit them? Dak Prescott had a chance to be the first Cowboy passer ever in the history of that franchise to lead the NFL in passing yards, and they benched him at halftime. If you're going to bench him at halftime, why play him? Like, Josh Allen playing one snap to keep his consecutive games played streak alive, and I'm going to swear, so if you have kids listening, don't. That's effing bullshit. That's weak as shit. Okay, that's not real. So Josh Allen's consecutive games played streak, it's not real. He did this last year too, I think, right? It's not real. That's weak. NFL's got to do something to incentivize teams to actually play their players. Anyway, Buccaneers defeated the Panthers. Didn't matter, though. They still didn't make the playoffs. The Panthers are not good. The Panthers are going to lose in the first round. Everyone knows it, but that's fine. Good for them. They made the playoffs. They, in this game, did absolutely nothing. Eric says add the Cardinals to that list. Well, at least they went and got away from Kyler Murray. But yeah, would they go 1-11 or something like that down the stretch? Not good. Ethan says the Giants didn't give up. True, the Giants didn't give up. They even had success. Well, it was easy to win a game when the other team gave up, but the Giants didn't give up, even with Wayndale Robinson out with his injury that we talked about last week. Ruined the draft stock. Yeah, well, that's what happens. Chris said, should NFL even have a week 18? Seems a lot of teams are not interested in playing the last week of the season. Well, the problem is, Chris, if you take week 18 out and you go to week 17, then teams are going to do it in week 17. Right? And the thing is, in baseball, do teams rest guys the final week of the year? Yeah, they do. But they play 162 games. So your guy plays 148 games out of 151 games. In basketball, that's a whole other thing. We all know that basketball's got a huge problem. Basketball, for those of you that don't follow the game, had to institute a rule that you had to play a certain amount of games to qualify for postseason awards. It got so bad that the league had to set a baseline for you to actually play to win awards. The NFL is a whole other thing. But no matter what they do here, it's just a weird scenario. Like in the case of and Jeff Mann said this on his TikTok video last night. Like, why were the Eagles not trying to win that game? Like, why? Why don't they want to face the Panthers? But I mean, I don't get why you wouldn't try to improve your seeding. The Rams did the right thing. They stomped out the Cardinals. Not only did they improve their seeding, but it also made them into a more formidable opponent. It gave the team the good vibes, gave the fans the good vibes, gave everyone in the locker room good feeling, versus, hey, we're slinking to a victory with our third string here or fourth string. I don't know. And again, when you play 17 games, and most of these guys' careers are, I don't even know. The average NFL player's career is like 2 years, 3 years. Like, you're just giving games away. I don't know. Panthers stink. They lost to the Panthers here. They can't run the football anymore. They were really effective running the ball for about half the season, in the middle, 2/3 of the year. But they can't run the football anymore. Rico Dowdle hasn't run for 60 yards like in 2 months. The pass catchers, McMillan went 4 for 85. Jalen Coker, interestingly enough, scored a touchdown. Coker played 100% of the 2 wide receiver snaps. He'd been playing less than 10% of them heading into the game yesterday. So basically, Coker is now the wide receiver 2 for this team. Leggett, who had been the guy running in the 2 wide receiver sets, barely played in 2 wide receiver sets, or he didn't play in 2 wide receiver sets. Coker played 100% of those snaps. So Coker has emerged. Does it mean anything? No. 4, 5, 6 catches, 45, 50 yards doesn't mean anything if he doesn't get in the end zone, but he did get in the end zone yesterday. Yep. You got it there, Scott. Exactly. Week 17 would be the new week 18 if they lowered the games down. I don't know. It's a problem because the product, and you all know this, when you're watching the game yesterday, the product was bad this week. It was bad. The Bengals and Browns played a football game yesterday, for those of you that weren't aware of it, because the entire broadcast was Myles Garrett. The entire broadcast. I have Myles Garrett on my dynasty team. I love Myles Garrett. He's a great guy, great player. I know he's a great guy. Can't say that. Seems like a great guy. Great football player, Hall of Fame bound. I didn't need to hear his name 350 times. Watching that game, he was spotlighted play after play after play. The announcers in the NFL didn't even care that there was a game happening. It was all just Myles Garrett going to sack Joe Burrow. That's, there's crappy football all over the place yesterday. All over the place. And it wasn't just last week or yesterday. It's been all season long, but yesterday it was just terrible. Anyway. Here we go. Ethan says, with Garrett breaking the sack record, do you think records should be separated into 16 versus 17 games, or does it just not matter? I feel it's hard to tell with some of these extra games. Well, the NFL used to play 14 games. So It's just what it is. And I think baseball dealt with that, right? The baseball's 144 games and 154 games and 162 games. And, they've added asterisks. You do whatever you please. I think it's really up to the person. In general, the average fan doesn't care if it's 17 or 16 or 15 games. I mean, you start giving records to guys because they only played 14 games, but their pace said, so it's, for those in the know, you understand it. The records now that get broken because of an extra game are kind of fake. We all know it, right? But yeah, kind of, I think it's a personal thing. Yeah, and he's correct. Angelo, Michael Strahan pointed out his record was in 17. Absolutely true. TJ Watts was in 17. 16 for Michael Strahan. I don't know. And also, and you guys can keep commenting here in the chat. Does anyone care that much about the sacks record? It's like the NFL tried to make the sacks record like it was the home run record. Like, it's a tremendous accomplishment. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, back to this game here. Buccaneers went out with the whimper. They won the game, so good for them there. But Baker Mayfield didn't do anything. Cade Otton, for those of you that played him for some reason, scored his first touchdown of the year. Had a great game, 7 for 94 in a score. Mike Evans, 2 for 34. Buka, 1 for 8. Godwin, 1 for 8. McMillan, 1 for 11. It's just they didn't do anything on offense. They won a game. They beat a team in the Panthers that's going to get smashed this week. But just nothing exciting there. Speaking of a terrible game, the Seahawks defeated the Niners 13-3. And woof, bad. The Seahawks won the game. Good for them. They won the NFC, moved to 14-3. They'll get the bye and all of that. Kenneth Walker, 16 for 97. Zach Charbonnet, 17 for 74 in a score. The Niners are holding it together. Bethune got hurt. They just can't stay healthy. And it's going to be very difficult for them this week to have success with the team that's as beat up as it is. By the way, for those people that didn't see it all, we should go through it here. We've got the Seahawks and the Broncos on bye. In the NFC, the Rams and the Panthers play. The Niners and the Eagles play. The Niners are going to have a hard time against the Eagles, though the Eagles themselves, Packers and Bears. In the AFC, it's the Texans versus the Steelers, the Bills versus the Jaguars. That'll be a good one. And then the Chargers versus the Patriots. Back to the Seahawks, 6 for 84 for Njigba, which is a good game, but kind of disappointing, But it's a good game, right? Led the NFL in receiving yards this year. Kenneth Walker, 20 touches. Kenneth Walker, 135 yards from scrimmage. Where has that been all season? Zach Charbonnet got in the touchdown. On the Niners side of things, Purdy came into this one super hot and just stunk. The whole team, they just didn't. Great defense by the Seahawks, we know that. But the Niners offense was just dead on arrival. Purdy had 127 yards, no scores, and an interception. Terrible game for him. No pass catchers did anything. Ricky Pearsall doesn't play football. So I was thinking about this the other day. The Niners are obviously going to have to spend a lot to bring in somebody through free agency or a high, like first, second round draft pick on a wide receiver, because Ricky Pearsall doesn't play. As great as he is when he's on the field, he doesn't play football. He was out yet again this week. George Kittle returned. Good news there for the Niners, but didn't do much. Caught 5 balls, 29 yards. McCaffrey ran for 23 yards and caught 6 passes for 34 yards. So he didn't even get to 60 yards of offense. So Niners going to the playoffs with a stinker after really riding high coming into that matchup with Seattle. Saints fell to the Falcons 19-17. I don't just like watching games in the Superdome or Atlanta, like just the visual. Doesn't it look dreary? Is it just me? I don't know. I like watch his games and it's like, I don't want to watch this. Anyway, Estime had 90 plus scrimmage yards last week, had 100 plus scrimmage yards this week. So he put some decent stuff on tape, nothing fantastic, but maybe he'll get a shot to be a second running back somewhere. I believe he's a free agent. So it doesn't mean he's going to be back with the Saints. Maybe he can find a number 2 job somewhere. He might struggle to make a 53-man roster, though. Through the air, Tyler Shuck had a rushing touchdown, and he also went 259, 1-1. Played a pretty good game, and he made some really nice passes, dropping some balls in over defenders. They were very overflowing with praise on the broadcast for him. Johnson had 3 for 60. Pettis had 5 for 60. Estime caught 5 for 43. Kevin Austin, 4 for 37. Ronnie Bell scored a touchdown. Who knew that was going to happen? And the answer is absolutely nobody. But obviously this team was hit with the news last week that Olave was going to miss things with the blood clot. He should be okay, but he didn't play last week. So, Falcon side of things, Kirk Cousins 180, 1-1. Got Kyle Pitts to catch 6 balls for 58 yards, which was a nice end to a strong season for Pitts, who went over 80 catches. Drake London 4 for 78 and a touchdown. Fell just short of 1,000 yards, but he didn't play all year. He missed like 5 games. Darnell Mooney is awful. He doesn't know how to toe tap. He doesn't know where he is on the field. He had, I think he's under 1 yard per route run, which is horrendous. He's just terrible. He's just a bad football. I watch him and I don't think he knows what he's doing out there. So they can't have another scenario, obviously, where he's getting 7 targets next season. They got to move on from him, figure something else out. He's got to drop down in the pecking order at the very least. Bijan Robinson, much like Christian McCaffrey, had a terrible game. We'll say, though, that Bijan did score a touchdown that got overturned on a penalty that led to the touchdown to Drake London. So he should have had a score, but both McCaffrey and Bijan go down in flames there at the end of the season in Week 18. The Browns defeated the Bengals 20-18. We already talked about this game. The game didn't matter to anybody except the players, maybe. Myles Garrett was the only thing that mattered. Whatever. Shedeur Sanders is not good. 11 for 22, 111 yards. He's got a weird thing. He drops his hands down, and it sometimes takes a long time, and he's looking all over the field. It takes too long to release the ball. He's not the answer. Maybe he can be coached up and all that, but he can't be the starter Week 1 next year for the Browns. As mentioned, they fired their head coach. So, Sanders will be lucky if he's the number 2 quarterback to start next season. They've got to go in a different direction. As was pointed out there by Murfinstein, it is true. Jonathan Gannon has been fired by the Cardinals. We heard his job was safe the other day, right? So much he's gone. Hard to, Kyler Murray. It's kind of hard. Anyway, so Gannon's out. Pete Carroll has been fired by the Raiders. Stefanski's been fired by the Browns. The Browns obviously were all kinds of beat up. Njoku didn't play. Ford was out. Quinshon Judkins was out. Dylan Sampson again led the way in the backfield with 12 touches. Didn't do anything. No one did anything. Really, I'm looking at this whole thing. Fannin didn't play because he was hurt. Nothing happened for the Browns. If you used any Browns player in any format, you lost. Nothing happened. They won the game because of the defense. Devin Bush had a 97-yard interception return. Webb had a 47-yard fumble return. They won the game 20-18 over the hapless Bengals, who fall to 6-11. Joe Burrow went for 236, 3 and 1. The touchdowns going to Chase, Higgins, and Brown. Higgins had 11 touchdowns on the year. He was the touchdown guy. Chase was the catch and yardage guy. Chase did score the last 2 weeks, which is nice, but his season ever so slightly below what we hoped for. He's still a top 3 wide receiver, so who cares? He was great. Chase Brown, we've talked about him a lot. Didn't do anything to start the year. The insertion of Joe Flacco and the return of Joe Burrow, those two things really reinvigorated Brown. He caught 4 more balls for another touchdown yesterday and ran for 72 yards to be their lead back this year, and obviously moving into next season, barring something strange as well. The Colts fell to the Texans, 38-30. Texans didn't play Nico Collins. Okay. They were actually behind this game until how much time was left? 2.5 minutes left before they took the lead in this game. They were down. What was it? They're down 20-10 at halftime. No, 23-17 at halftime. I don't know how to read a score thing right, but it was 20-10 at one point. Anyway, it was 29-27 into the fourth quarter, and they finally came out in the end. Fairbairn with a field goal, a fumble return on a meaningless play with the last play of the game. So they were going to win 32-30. They got a touchdown on the last play of the game. The Colts. Riley Leonard looked okay. 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He ran for a score. That's a pretty good effort. That's a pretty good effort for a backup guy, for a young quarterback, really making his first start against a really good Texans defense. By the way, Gavin says whoever comes to Atlanta quits the BS with playing Algier. Algier is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. So he may not even be back with the Falcons. So they'll get someone else in there to mess things up. But hopefully they won't Jimmy Jack around as much as they did this year. You're right about that. Colts, Alec Pierce was ejected in this game. He bumped the ref. I don't think anything's going to come. No, I don't think any fines or anything's going to come of this. He bumped the ref when he was arguing about it. He didn't mean to do it. If you didn't see it, he kind of just bumped him with his arm. It's no big deal, but he was ejected for bumping the official. He caught 4 balls for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. If I'm not mistaken, he's also a free agent. So I've already seen questions in Discord, people asking about players in dynasty formats. Remember, there's a lot that's going to change. Before you try to determine the value of a player, you have to know what team he's going to be on, who his quarterback is going to be, who his OC is going to be, who his head coach is going to be. So this is not a good time, barring the supreme guys, right? Barring the Jonathan Taylors and the Jamar Chase types. It's not a good time to be making moves to add some of these lower level pieces like Alec Pierce. We don't know where he's going to be, who's going to be throwing the football. We have no idea. Did a great game yesterday, 4 for 132 and 1. Josh Downs, 4 catches for 61 yards. Tyler Warren had 5 catches for 26 yards. The big negative here, obviously, was Jonathan Taylor was hoping to get a chance to beat Mr. Cook for the rushing title. Just didn't happen against that stout Texans defense. 14 carries for 26 yards. British Brooks led the backfield for the Texans yesterday. Won't happen again. He's a fullback. Don't worry about him. The leader in this backfield heading into the playoffs is Woody Marks. Nick Chubb didn't even touch the ball yesterday, so I don't know if he'll even be active next week. Rushing touchdown for Stroud, throwing touchdown for Stroud again. Collins was out. Hutchinson made a nice catch that wasn't a catch because he was out of bounds, but if you didn't see it, beautiful catch as he was falling out of bounds. It wasn't a catch. He did lead the way, 5 for 84. Schultz caught 4 balls for 73 yards. Jaden Higgins got in the end zone for a touchdown as they won 38-30 in a game that was closer, really close, until the final moments. Jaguars defeated the Titans 41-7. The game was not close at any point. This game, well, I guess it was. Technically, the Titans jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. I don't know why Cam Ward is doing a read option at the goal line. Cam Ward ran into the end zone, scored a 7-yard touchdown. As he scored, he was hit, kind of driven into the ground, hurt his shoulder, so he didn't play after the first quarter. He was in a sling on the sidelines. He should be fine. I haven't heard anything significant there, but just a weird play call. Anyway, he got hurt. That was the highlight of the game, the touchdown where he got hurt. Pollard ran for 48 yards, which is disappointing given where he has been the last couple of weeks, but the Jaguars are a good defense. And kudos to the Jaguars who played their guys late, way into this game. Right? They didn't do the Buffalo Bills where the whole team's not playing. They didn't do the Packers where the whole team's not playing thing. They played their guys, much like the Rams. We'll see if that pays off here into the playoffs with the Jaguars. Alec Almenor was the only pass catcher with 30 yards. He had 3 for 50. Allen came in and threw for 72 yards, just nothing there. On the Jaguars side of things, Etienne touched the ball 15 times, didn't do anything. That was disappointing. Tutin returned from his finger issue. Didn't do much, 5 for 23 on the ground, but he did have a rushing touchdown to give him something. 3 touchdown passes from Trevor Lawrence, who just goes into the playoffs on fire right now, week after week, producing multiple touchdowns, if not 3. Touchdown passes to Quentin Morris. No one had him going. Brenton Strange, 6 for 52 and a touchdown. So if you played Brenton Strange, there you go. There you go. Parker Washington, 5 for 87 in a score. 5 catches, 44 yards for Jacoby Myers, his normal thing. Brian Thomas had 3 for 49 and missed a large chunk of the second quarter with injury. So keep an eye on that moving forward. Minnesota defeated the Packers, who again gave up. They didn't play anybody. Packers, by the way, called a timeout with 1 second left to kick a field goal, so they didn't get shut out. 16-3 to the Vikings. The Vikings actually finished at 9-8. The Packers were 9-7-1. Yeah, that close. On the Packers side of things, Clayton Tune. The Packers were facing a Vikings defense that has really played well down the stretch. No doubt about that. And they were on the road. But this was, they threw the ball for 34 yards. The highlight of the game was Chris Brooks, 13 carries for 61 yards. So if you played Emmanuel Wilson instead of Jacobs, which I did in one league, 18 carries, 44 yards. I also had a reception for 4 yards. 19 touches for 48 yards for Emmanuel Wilson. On the other side of things, J.J. McCarthy hurt his hand. He was actually playing pretty good. Hurt his hand, couldn't finish the game. Brosmer came in. Justin Jefferson goes 8 for 101 with that game that we were expecting him to have every week this season. Finally has it in week 18 when most of you aren't playing anymore. Glad they did something positive because we've talked about that here on the show here. You can go into the offseason with him catching 2 balls for 28 yards every game. So it was nice to see him get involved and produce something. Naylor had 3 for 49, and Jordan Addison had 1 for 6. 1 for 8, excuse me. Yikes. Ugh. On the ground, Aaron Jones didn't play, allowing Jordan Mason 14 carries for 94 yards. Mason might be the lead running back for this team next year. Jones, I believe, is a free agent. Is he a free? He might be a free agent. And Mason's on a contract. So Mason's going to have a role next year. He might actually be the leader, though he doesn't play third downs, but he might be the leader for the Vikings. They need to figure out the quarterback position, though, because 2025/6 was a dreadful campaign for J.J. McCarthy overall. Dallas falls to the Giants. We talked about this game earlier. The Cowboys played their guys for half the game and then gave up. Don't understand why they bothered playing them at all if that's what they were going to do. Giants won 34-17. Jaden Blue had a rushing touchdown. Maffa had a rushing score. Jaden Blue had some nice runs in this game. And there's still hope that he'll develop into a usable asset in the fantasy space. If you have him in Dynasty, I would try to hold him. Javonte Williams is a free agent, I believe. I should have checked all the free agents before the show started. But I believe he's a free agent. So there's a chance that Blue could be part of a committee or maybe even emerge as the lead back. The way they handled it this year with him, that seems rather dubious. But maybe he's the number 2 back and active on game days next year. We'll see how it plays out. Milton threw for 73 yards. Prescott threw for 70. They only threw for 140 yards here, so they didn't do anything. Pickens only played a little bit. 1 catch for 9 yards. Had 2 passes thrown his way to try to score a touchdown. Wasn't able to haul either one in. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch for 4 yards. Again, why are you playing these guys? I don't get it. Speaking of the numbers earlier, how much better does it look? Maybe that's why they played Pickens. So when they go to say, oh, well, you played 17 games, look at your numbers per game. Well, if he only played 16 games, they were better. He had 1 catch for 9 yards in this game. Flournoy led the way, 5 for 68. Nothing happening there with Denver. On the Giants side, we heard Malik Neighbors, by the way, come out and say, I hope to be ready for week 1, but I'm not guaranteeing it. And if I'm not ready for week 1, I'm not playing. We talk about it all the time. Players hardly ever say negative things about their health. When a player says, hey, look, if I'm ready, I'm ready. If I'm not playing. It's months and months and months away. But that's not really what you want to hear with Malik Neighbors. They had Wendell Robinson out because of the rib injury. So Olszewski, 8 catches, 102 yards. Okay, he even threw a pass. Okay, fine. Tyrone Tracy, 8 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 103 yards. He had a huge game. That's almost 160 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown for Tyrone Tracy, who I also played in the one league I was still playing. Slayton caught 4 for 34 yards. He'll probably be back as a deep threat. They'll probably go Robinson, Slayton, Neighbors. That's not a bad trio. Long guy, underneath guy, Malik Neighbors. They'll give Dart a chance. Dart with a couple of passing scores and 32 yards rushing on the ground. I'm Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. By the way, don't forget to go to FantasyGuru.com. Get signed up for the package over there. We have many packages available. We've got the best ball tournament that we talked about earlier in our partnership with Drafters. If you haven't signed up with Drafters before, use the promo code ELITE. The promo code ELITE. If you sign up with them before, you can only win part of $300,000 and not get a matching bonus. But you can still play the tournament. Drafters.com/refer/elite. Drafters.com/refer/elite. You can get the MVP plan over at FantasyGuru.com. That is everything we offer besides football and baseball. So that's basketball, NASCAR, PGA, MMA, horse racing, NHL. All of that is in the MVP plan, rocking and rolling right now. Get signed up for that over at FantasyGuru.com. I think I heard Jeff Mann say it's $19.99 the rest of the way for the football. I said $29.99 last week. If it's $19.99, because I heard Jeff say it's $20 last night on the TikTok video. It's one of the two. That gets you all of our football coverage the rest of the way. The only thing it doesn't include is our Super Bowl betting guide, which is always a separate thing. But that'll get you all of the coverage. You'll get all the articles, all the live streams, all the Discord rooms for seasonal DFS and betting. So whatever format you're playing in the playoffs, we'll have you covered over at FantasyGuru.com. Click that subscribe tab in the top right corner, which is that side, Ray. Yeah, where? Or send an email to support@FantasyGuru.com. Next up, Jets fall to the Bills as expected. As I said, fake. Consecutive games played streak for Mr. Allen. That's some weak sauce. Lou Gehrig's rolling over in his grave somewhere. The Jets mercifully end their season at 3-14. No one played in this game. Davis didn't play. Hall didn't play. Khalil Herbert's on this team. Did you even know that? He led the team with 42 rushing yards. Brady Cook threw for 60 yards. Isaiah Williams was named the team MVP, I think I saw. Caught 5 balls for 24 yards. That's it. We'll move on. Hopefully the Jets can do a lot of things in the offseason. On the Bills side, they really needed a solid game, and they got this from their backups. So from a depth perspective, they got Mitch Trubisky out there. He threw for 259 and 4 touchdowns, so he's good to go if he's needed in the playoffs. So that foot injury of Josh Allen lingers. Ray Davis, who really didn't do much all season long, did a lot yesterday. He had 174 scrimmage yards yesterday. He had a touchdown reception. Yeah, he had a touchdown reception. Gabe Davis also had a touchdown reception. Dawson Knox played like 8 snaps, had a touchdown reception. And Ty Johnson had a rushing and receiving touchdown. So the Bills got all their backups involved. If they're needed in the playoffs here, starting even this week, at least they can feel confident that they had some success in week 17. But the Bills rested all their guys. I mean, the Bills rested all their guys, basically. Keon Coleman, who hadn't even been active, caught 2 balls for 49 yards. Gabe Davis caught 5 for 41. Mitch Trubisky, Ray Davis, here we go. And that's why if you have Ray Davis in the Dynasty League, you should hold on to Ray Davis. Detroit beats the Bears. The Bears were behind in this one 16-0, came storming back, tied this game 16-16, and then lose on the final play of the game when Bates kicks that field goal. So the Lions win the game 19-16. The Bears fall to 11-6. Bears still in the playoffs. Everything's fine. Lions are 9-8, so at least they finished the season on a high note against their division rival on the road. Jared Goff went for 331 yards, a touchdown and interception, finishing yet another 4,000-yard, 30-touchdown season. He's really, really effective. No rushing. There's nothing exciting about him, but it's 265-2 most weeks. He's really, really effective. The pass catchers, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 15 targets, caught 11 of them for 139 yards. J-Mo, Mr. Williams, had 6 catches for 74 yards, really taking a step forward when the play caller became Dan Campbell. So you've probably seen this mentioned in multiple places because I know I have. Pay close attention to who's calling the plays for the Lions. They're going to search for a new OC, it sounds like, because Williams is always going to be part of this offense and can always have the big play in the splash games. But Dan Campbell really likes getting him the ball. Like 8 targets is a big number for him. And that's kind of where we've been with him for 6 weeks now. So keep an eye on that. Isaac Tesla, 1 catch. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3 catches, 33 yards and a score. 19 carries for 80 yards. And we saw a continuation of the trend with Dan Campbell. When Dan Campbell took over, the ball went to Williams out wide, and it didn't go to David Montgomery. David Montgomery only had 9 touches yesterday, had 55 yards, but another game with a low touch count as they just kept feeding the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. On the Bears side of things, Caleb Williams, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. No Rome Odunze. The hope is he'll be back here in the playoffs. The hope he'll be back in the playoffs. DeAndre Swift led the way with 10 carries for 40 yards. Common Nungai, 6 for 14. Luther Burden, what did he catch? 8 for 138 yards or whatever. Falls to 3 for 35. Jahady Walker, 2 for 35 and a touchdown. No one's playing him. Colston Loveland, 13 targets. That's a target share over 33%. 10 receptions, 91 yards and a score. So a big game for him if you used him in DFS. Or if you were still playing, you had him in a seasonal context. A really big game here. But they really need to get Rome Odunze back. They need to reestablish DJ Moore, who's dealing with an illness or something. 1 catch for 11 yards. I don't know. The Bears head into the playoffs with a ton of weapons. We'll see if they can get this thing to coalesce here down the stretch into the playoffs. The Chargers were defeated by the Broncos 19-3. They didn't play Johnston. They didn't play McConkey. They didn't play Herbert. They didn't play Hampton. So the Chargers were, they sat half their offense, all their skill players, basically. Trey Lance, if you used him, 9 carries for 69 yards, no touchdowns and interception, 136 yards. How do you throw 44 passes? Throw for 136 yards. Like, that's just so bad. All they tried to do was get the ball to Keenan Allen to make him money. He had a reception and a yardage prop or something in his contract. He might have made like $1 million yesterday in bonuses, $750, $1 million, something like that. 7 catches on 13 targets for 36 yards. Nothing here. This was a game where they're looking to the playoffs. The Broncos, on the other hand, won a game at home 19-3 against an opponent that kind of just didn't really care. It was 10-3 at halftime. It was 13-3 at the start of the fourth quarter. Like this, the Broncos scored a touchdown on an interception return. And they had a field goal, a field goal, a field goal, a field goal. Their offense didn't do jack. And that's a concern. The rushing piece has not been there recently for the Broncos. And we saw it again yesterday. 15 carries for 28 yards for RJ Harvey. Cortland Sutton, a wide receiver 1 this season. Their number 1 wide receiver, of course. 1 catch for 5 yards. He had 2 targets. Keenan Allen gets 13. Cortland Sutton gets 2. Okay. Franklin played more snaps. Say it with me, folks. Bryant. Bryant played more snaps, ran more routes, saw more targets, caught more balls, produced more yards than Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin's their 3rd wide receiver. Number 2 is Pat Bryant. So remember that heading into the playoffs here. But that was Broncos won and moved to 14-3. They got their bye. That's that offense. Yeah. We talked earlier about Arizona. They fall to the Rams. They gave us a good fight. It was 6-6 at halftime, and it was 16-13 in the third quarter. They actually even took the lead 20-16 with a few minutes left in the third quarter before ultimately giving up a couple of late touchdowns to the Rams. Brissett went for 243 and 2. Another big effort for him in the fantasy space. He was kind of Jared Goff. And it'll be interesting to see who the quarterback is. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be in week 1 next year for the Cardinals. We don't know who the head coach is going to be next year for the Cardinals. We don't know what the offense is going to look like. We don't have any idea. They got to get Marvin Harrison healthy. The decision on the quarterback, they could go with Brissett as a bridge quarterback. He was perfectly acceptable this year, right? He's clearly not the quarterback of the future. They have to draft one or sign one. That has to happen. They got to get Marvin Harrison right. They got to get the backfield center, Trey Benson. They got to get him healthy. Wilson went over 1,000 yards, which is damn impressive for a guy that wasn't drafted in a single league this year. 5 for 99 and a touchdown. He also lost like a 50-yard catch on a penalty. He would have had a massive day. Trey McBride caught 7 more passes for 65 yards, setting records all over the place, catches and all kinds of stuff for tight ends. But that was really it, as it has been. We love that in the fantasy space, right? A couple of guys doing everything. Saw it again with the Cardinals. On the Rams side of things, Blake Corum had 1 more carry than Kyren Williams. He had 5 carries on the final drive. Game was kind of already over anyway, but the more productive player was Kyren Williams, 12 for 60. He also caught 3 balls for 21 yards, and he looks good. He had that 15-yard run earlier in the game, and he was shifty, and he was bobbing and weaving. Corum is a pounder, a little bit more finesse, I think, with Kyren Williams. But again, the two of them are going to touch the ball an awful lot. We know that. We're hearing that Devontae Adams should be good to go for the Rams in their first playoff game, which is really good from their side of things. 4 touchdown passes for Matthew Stafford. Who's the MVP? Is it May or Stafford? Stafford has better numbers. Stafford played a tougher schedule. Is it Drake May? I don't know. But 259 and 4 for Stafford. 2 touchdowns for Parkinson. Parkinson, he's just a huge part of this offense. Now, his touchdown upside, which is really where his game is, because he's even yesterday 4 for 36 yards. With the return of Devontae Adams, he's not going to be the goal line guy as much. He'll be the sneaky goal line guy, but he's not going to be the primary goal line look, right? That'll be Adams now, as we saw all year long prior to his injury. So keep that in mind with Parkinson. Also keep in mind that Tyler Higbee returned from injury after missing a long time, being on the IR and all that. Comes back, and he caught 3 passes of over 20 yards yesterday. He had 5 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. He looked good. He was spry. He was jumping, bobbing, weaving all over the place. This is a difficult offense to defend. And when they get Devontae Adams back, we'll see how things go in the playoffs for the Rams. But that's a team no one really wants to play, I don't think, at this point in time. Kansas City was defeated by the Raiders 14-12. This is a horrendous football game, too. As we discussed here on the show, Pete Carroll's been let go. Oddly, why is Travis Kelce in what seems to be his last game? Getting 6 targets for 3 catches and 12 yards. Like, really? That's how the all-timer's going out? Oladokun was so bad they had to replace him. Bichelle took over like this. They threw the ball 31 times, and they had, 150 yards? I don't know. No touchdowns. They didn't throw an interception. Rashad Smith finally got some run. Led the backfield, which was nice. That's something they should have done a few weeks ago, but he did a little bit. He probably will retain a roster spot. Hunt's a free agent. Pacheco's a free agent. They'll obviously they're not going to let Rashard Smith be their 1 next year, but they'll bring somebody else in. But it looks like he'll have a chance to stick with the roster. Just nothing there. Not that we were expecting anything on the Raiders side of things. Ashton Genty, 26 carries. Love seeing that. 87 yards. Caught 3 balls. Love seeing that. 7 yards. So, he ends the season. Would have been nice to see him get to 100 scrimmage yards, but he ends the year doing about as well as he possibly could have, given what was going on around him, which was utter chaos all over the place. Passing-wise, Kenny Pickett was removed after throwing 4 passes, only completed 1. He took a huge sack where you have to have, and if you didn't see it, go watch Kenny Pickett get sacked. He's in the pocket and he's looking to his left, and the guy's coming from his right, and you need a third eye to see it, but he didn't sense it at all. He got lit up. He got completely lit up. He didn't sense the pressure at all. Kenny Pickett, don't forget, Kenny Pickett was going to be the Steelers quarterback forever, right? Talk about a huge miss at the quarterback position. O'Connell came in, didn't do anything. Raiders offense completely bankrupt. Mayer led the way with 3 catches for 47 yards. Sounds like Tom Brady's going to be heavily involved in choosing the next head coach. Raiders will try to make that a reality here moving forward in quick order. We'll see what they do. Dolphins fall to the Patriots. Patriots moved to 14-3. Had a tremendous, really out of nowhere season. The Dolphins finished 7-10. Seems like McDaniel's going to hold on to his job. Let's see if he's been fired in the last 10 minutes and I missed it. No, okay. We did get an update. Cam Ward, who hurt his shoulder, has an AC joint sprain but does not require surgery. That's good. Good news there. After we talked earlier about his shoulder issue. So it looks like McDaniel's going to probably hang around with the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins have to decide what's going on with Tua Tagovailoa, what's going on with Tyreek Hill. There is a scenario where both are back next year. There's a scenario where they're both gone. Is Quinn Ewers the guy to lead this team? No. Is Quinn Ewers the backup? Sure, fine. Zach Wilson, I don't think he sticks around, right? Like, that doesn't, unless they don't draft anybody, and it's going to be a Ewers-Wilson battle. But they have significant. When you have your number one wide receiver, and I think Waddle's a free agent too, right? Like Waddle, Hill, Tagovailoa, the 3 pillars of your offense, with the 4th being HN. If 3 of the 4 pillars are gone, your house falls over. So huge decisions to be made here. Nothing happened for this team yesterday. If you played anyone on this team, I guess if you played Malik Washington, you got a touchdown, but he took 5 touches for 28 yards. This offense is just. Greg Dulcich, 3 catches for 31 yards, keeping a streak of 3 catch games in a row. Waller was placed on the IR earlier in the week, as we talked about. They fought, right? You can give McDaniel credit for keeping this team going, but they were just outmanned and whooped yesterday by the Patriots. Stevenson had 2 rushing touchdowns. Henderson had 2 rushing touchdowns. Stevenson also had a receiving touchdown. Yeah, that's 5 touchdowns for your running backs. That's a powerful duo. And we can all wish that things had been different in the first half of the season with the usage of Henderson. I think it's fair to critique the Patriots for how they handled Henderson. It's also fair to say they're 14-3 and they're running over opponents right now. Those 2 guys had 20 carries yesterday for 184 yards. So it's working now. And they are certainly trending and moving in the right direction heading into the playoffs. Drake May, 191 with a touchdown. He ran for 41 yards. Another strong effort, 14 for 18. Kayshon Boutte returned. The touchdown, again, as I mentioned, went to Stevenson. Boutte had a couple of receptions. Douglas had a couple of receptions. Chisholm had a catch. Stephon Diggs had 3 catches. Hunter Henry was the big guy with 5 for 56 yards. It's a good football team. And honestly, right now, probably the favorite to win the AFC. Washington defeated the Eagles, as the Eagles, again, just for some reason, just didn't care about winning a football game. It was weird. They didn't, they played Devonta Smith, who had 3 catches for 52 yards. They played Devonta Smith to get him to 1,000 receiving yards on the year. And he got that. So they played him to get that. Didn't play Hurts, didn't play Barkley, didn't play Goddard, didn't play A.J. Brown. They didn't play anybody. And they lost to the Commanders. Now, I don't know. We've seen the Eagles do this late in the year where they bench guys, rest guys. And can't say it's not working for them. So, okay, but Chris Rodriguez ran for 65 yards and a touchdown, so another strong effort for him. Interesting, I've seen a lot. I saw it on the broadcast, and I've seen it, or heard it on the broadcast, and saw it when I was reading some game recaps. Like, everyone's all into this JCM guy over at Rodriguez. Really? Who was the more productive guy yesterday? Rodriguez. Who's been the more productive guy the last month? Rodriguez. And they've made a big deal of JCM was rookie of the week 4 times this year. Who cares? JJ McCarthy was player of the week in week 1. Who cares? NFC player of the week in week 1. Yeah. If you don't remember that. It was a long time ago. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think either one of these guys, Rodriguez or Merritt, if they're the 1-2 punch for the almost said Redskins. For the Commanders next year, I don't know if that's going to excite anybody. We'll see if Eckler is back. I mean, who knows what they're doing in the backfield. They've got to get, obviously, Jaden Daniels right. That's the most important thing. Josh Johnson played because Marcus Mariota couldn't go. Josh Johnson, who's like 38, 39. He's played forever. Passing score. He had a rushing score. He had a pretty decent fantasy game, actually. He'll probably be someone's third quarterback again next year if he wants to keep playing. McLaurin led the way with 4 catches for 57 yards. That was it. Touchdown to Bates. Who cares? Deebo Samuel, 2 catches for 20 yards. Didn't come close to hitting any of the incentives in his contract. From the Eagles side, Bigsby, 16 for 75 and a touchdown. So if you played him like I did, you got a payoff there because I knew Barkley wasn't going to get any work. So I played my handcuff, you have handcuffs. Tank Bigsby. He played all the goal line and first and second down snaps, and all the third down and 2-minute drill snaps basically went to Will Shipley. So if the Eagles were to lose Barkley, it does appear like Bigsby's the first and second down guy and Shipley's the third down guy. So they probably have a very traditional split that way, which you're used to seeing in backfields. So that's a very strong hint of what would happen if Barkley were to go down. Eagles lost the game, fell to 11-7. Finally, the big game of the night, and this game was decided on the final play. The Steelers went down, scored a touchdown with under a minute left to take a 26-24 lead. And then, unfortunately, the youngster Loop missed the game-winning field goal as time expired. So the Ravens are out of the playoffs. They fall to 8-9. Steelers improved to 10-7, make the playoffs yet again. It'll be very interesting to see because no one's expecting the Steelers, who got TJ Watt back, which was great. No one's expecting the Steelers to win and advance in the playoffs. Will they fire Mike Tomlin? Will Mike Tomlin leave? Another 10-win season for the Steelers, another playoff appearance for the Steelers, all-time record for most consecutive seasons, finishing at 500 or better. We'll see. They won a game against a Ravens team that most people figured would go the other direction. Most people figured the Ravens would win this game. Lamar Jackson played and, 238-3. And there you go, Lamar. He played and looked pretty good. Made some beautiful passes, especially to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers had 4 catches for 138 yards and 2 scores. Devontae Walker, who caught like 5 balls this year, had 3 touchdowns, including 1 last night. Likely and Andrews just not really part of this passing offense. It's unfortunately they have been for the majority of the second half of the season. Derrick Henry was the only game in town on the ground, 20 for 126. Very traditional Ravens game offensively. Unfortunately, their defense was unable to stop the Steelers from scoring 2 more points. So the Steelers will move on. Huge addition will happen this week for the Steelers. They get DK Metcalf back off his 2-game suspension. We saw Kenneth Gainwell lead the team yesterday in targets, receptions, and yards. 9, 8, 64. Didn't do anything on the ground, but had a rushing touchdown. Connor Hayward had a rushing touchdown, and it leads me to think, is Jaylen Warren getting boxed out? Because Jaylen Warren caught 5 balls for 33 yards yesterday. So he's involved. He's catching passes, but he's really in a almost 50-50 timeshare with Kenneth Gainwell, right? So he's in this 50-50 timeshare with Kenneth Gainwell. And then we got Connor Hayward. And what is Connor Hayward doing here? Like, why is Connor Hayward getting rushing work, right? He had a rushing touchdown again last night. Connor Hayward, by the way, is a running back for those people that don't remember. Sorry. I'm making a note here because I had screwed something else up earlier. But yeah, is he stealing goal line work from Jaylen Warren? I don't know. Pass catching wise, Austin 3 for 55 and a touchdown. Pat Freiermuth 3 for 51, 3 for 43 for 31. Bottom line is this is what it is with the Steelers. We know that. The only pass catcher you want to play is DK Metcalf. The 2 running backs are in play. That's really about it. But surprisingly, again, the Steelers won that game 26-24. We're not starting today because today's an all-football day. But starting tomorrow, for those of you that are into baseball, we got a 2025 Topps Chrome update box. So I don't know. I'm not into cards like I once was, but there are obviously inserts available. Redemption cards. Redemption's card carry a 10-year expiration date. Wow. That's pretty good. I didn't think it'd be that long. But yeah, there's autograph cards in here. Autographed green refractor. We're hoping to get a James Wood autographed green refractor. We'll start opening that up tomorrow, 1 pack a day. That box has 7 packs in it, by the way. I love that. When I was a kid, it'd be like, 20 packs, 24. What were them, like 32 packs? 36 packs, I think, was in some of the boxes. 7. Anyway, we'll start opening that up tomorrow. We'll start sprinkling in some baseball here and there. Haven't really laid out the plan yet for the show moving forward. Honestly, I was gonna do that later today. I will do that later today. Maybe I'll share that with everyone tomorrow. I think what my loose plan will be to continue to have football talk all throughout the playoffs. We'll continue to have Armando Marcel on Tuesdays, Tyler Beaker on Thursdays, and Russell Clay on Fridays. All 3 of those guests will talk football all off season. So we'll have we'll have an hour and a half a week of football talk, even when we're in baseball season. So we won't ever leave football, but it's time to start thinking about baseball. I've been writing, I think it's up to like 18 articles I've got done for the draft guide over at fantasyguru.com. Remember, we called it draft guide. It's a full season product. I'm meeting with the tech guy this week on Thursday to make sure we got everything set. So hopefully, maybe even by Friday this week, I'll be able to release a target date. We'll see. It'll obviously be sometime in July. We've got a lot of articles behind the scenes rocking and rolling. But remember, we've got coverage of everything over at fantasyguru.com. Get the MVP plan by clicking that subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get the MVP plan to get everything besides football and baseball. You can still sign up for the football package. If you sign up for the football package, you get DFS, seasonal, and wagering throughout the playoffs. Everything but the Super Bowl betting guide. You can start to get excited about the baseball package, which should be available soon. Discord rooms are open. Live streams are still going on. As I noted, this show will do baseball all season long, and we'll do football all season long. And like I said last year, and we did, we'll do it again this year. We won't leave baseball in July like other people do. We won't leave baseball in August or September like other people do. We're going to follow baseball on this show every day until the regular season is over. We'll do that again this year, and we'll continue to follow football. Adam says, "Oh, nice. I didn't know you cracked packs here." We do on occasion. There's been many times. We've going back, I'm trying to remember. When we started the show, Kyle Elfrink was on a little bit too, and we got a Jordan card here that was like $100. I've got an app on my phone. Let me see here. See if I can get my phone going. What is going on? I don't know my phone. Collectibles app, and you're supposed to be able to take a picture of the card, and it tells you how much it costs. So if we get any inserts, which I won't have any idea what they're worth because I'm not into the card game anymore, I guess we'll be able to find roughly what their cost is on the show, so that'll be cool. But yeah, I've collected cards my whole life. Unfortunately, when I collected cards, the majority of my card collecting was when there were 9,000 million, trillion, gazillion, bazillion boxes made, kind of in the 80s. So not many of my cards are extremely expensive, but I'll also tell this, and then we'll get out of here for the day. We had a local card shop, which moved, but is still around. And my brother and I went down to the card shop one day. I've told this story previously, but it's a really good one to wrap the show up today. We went down to the card shop. We each had like 15, 20 bucks. My parents had given it to us, and we were going to go get a box of cards. And my brother Jeff and I, do we get the same? Do we get different? Let's get different, right? So I got the 85 Topps football. I think it's 85, might be 86. I got the 85 Topps football set. Okay, so I don't know. That's probably worth something right now. I don't know. But I got the whole set, the 85 Topps football set. Feeling pretty good about that. All right, here we go. Good stuff. My brother, on the other hand, says, I don't want that. My brother says, I'm going to get some basketball cards. So he got the 86 Jordan. 86 is the Jordan? Yeah, 86 Flair. He got the 86 Flair set. So I got the 85 football set, which is worth $350, $400. He got the Flair basketball set with the Jordan and everybody else, and the stickers too. So the Jordan is in the safety deposit box of the family, and I've got Bupkis. I got cool looking cards, but I probably should have gotten the same set as my brother. Probably. I'm only $10,000 behind him now. Yeah. Damn you, Jeff. But anyway, yeah, so occasionally we open up cards, usually around holidays and my birthdays when I get them. I don't usually buy too many on my own. But yeah, we'll get into doing a pack a day starting tomorrow here on the show. I'm Ray Flowers. Remember, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're here on the show. We go about an hour. After that, you take about an hour break. Then you head over to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio for the Elite Sports Show from 2 to 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday. We have we'll continue to have live streams for DFS for football on Friday and Sunday. We'll have the live stream on Tuesday nights for seasonal football. That'll continue to go on. We've got this show. If you go to fantasyguru.com, you click that Elite Plus tab at the top of the page there in the toolbar. You can find this show, the catalog, so all the old episodes of this show, Armando Marsal's football show, Justin Fenchman's basketball show, Rich and Sean's NASCAR show, Jeff Mann's One Man's Opinion show. All of those, if you go to fantasyguru.com and you click that Elite Plus tab at the top of the page. So thanks for joining me today. Hope to see you again here tomorrow. We'll be talking some football with Armando Marsal, and I'll do my best to relay kind of more of the plan here in the off season. Finally, Adam says, same here. Late baseball in the 90s. Then I caught the trading card bug hard all the way through college. We're talking Magic the Gathering, Pokemon. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm a Star Wars guy, and that's about it for me. I was not big into the sci-fi, really. I certainly wasn't big into fantasy. A girlfriend of mine got into Lord of the Rings, so I saw those movies, but I never saw The Hobbit, never read any of that stuff. I was reading history books and studying baseball stats. I'm a little bit of a goober. Angela says, I gave all of my cards to my brother before I went to the Army in 1977, but he still has them. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah. That's always nice. I had a friend down the street who had a bunch of cards, and we did some trades, and he kind of gave me some. I ended up with a bunch of 75 Topps baseball cards. I also got from him my Dale Murphy rookie card. Dale Murphy was my favorite player. Got a Dale Murphy rookie card in a trade. I then traded my Dale Murphy rookie card, my favorite player, for the 84 Topps set with the U.S. Olympic team, right? McGuire and Will Clark and Palmeiro and all these guys. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I even have. Maybe I have to look into it. I don't think I have Dale Murphy anymore. I think that was the only one I had. Anyway, maybe I'll start thinking about that. Nerd Culture is too expensive. It is expensive, Ethan. And I'm glad you love it. Anyway, we'll talk more about this and everything else as we move forward here on the show. Love the conversations. Love the positivity in the chat room. Remember, 3 ways to watch the show live and leave the comments that we've been talking about here and addressing. You can leave comments or questions 3 ways. Twitter.com, Twitter X. It's twitter.com/ let me try this again. I'm going in the right order because I just threw myself completely off going out of order. YouTube.com/@ElitePlusNetwork. Twitter X @FantasyGuru site. Facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ. It's really hard when you go out of order. Any of those 3 places you can watch at any point. But if you're watching live, you can leave the comments that we can address throughout the show. You can always go to the site, click the Elite Plus tab at the top to find the show, and just type in Fantasy Sports Daily wherever you listen to podcasts, and hopefully you can find us there as well. I'm Ray Flowers. Have a great Monday. We'll see you back here on Tuesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by fantasyguru.com.